He wants to rework some of the interior stuff, the walls. And as I say, instead of having the community building down there, he wants it. They were talking about having it up by the street. No big deal. They just flop the plan over.
I thought you said it was the other way around because they want more place to turn. Oh yeah, because they want more traffic.
Well, see, this way here,
Turning radius.
if you lay this over this way,
Yeah.
and there's the end of the building, and your trucks are coming out. Well, there's
Yeah.
121. The right of
Right.
way is probably about
Okay.
4 feet off
So
this
it's a
building.
buffer.
So if they come out with a
Yeah.
rescue truck here, they
Yeah.
need to be able to come out
Yeah.
and turn the corner.
Right.
If the way this was designed, if the trucks were down, the rescue trucks were down here, and the fire trucks here, they would never be able to make that corner.
Okay.
So we had to flop it around.
So you talk about flopping this space around.
This space would then go up here, and these would just move down this way.
Oh, so this is not the proposed plan,
No,
it would be
no,
the mirror image of this?
You
Yeah.
notice this is kind of taped on here, so I can flop this anywhere I want.
But, and then if you did that, then you may have an issue with the parking spaces.
Well, no.
Yeah,
they
because
still,
you're gonna have a door there,
well,
right?
Yeah.
An overhead door.
we'll have an overhead door.
And,
Yeah.
and you need to get a truck out.
So you wouldn't
So,
be able to
no,
park
you
in
would,
front of
well,
the truck.
that's my question was to them, well, then why were you gonna deal with the parking?
It'd
But
have
they,
to be
they suggested that all the parking would then move further out
Yeah.
and be out,
Right, down there, yeah.
out in Home Run Alley out there. So,
What's Rendy?
what?
Ready, it says.
Rendy?
I think it says ready.
Oh,
Red-
Rendy.
That's the ready room
Oh.
that they want.
So there should be a door
There
from
is.
this to into here.
Right here. And we can put a door in. This is
Yeah.
the
They
ready
need to be
room.
able to get
If
in
you
there.
eliminate the ready room, then you would be able to put a door in. Yeah.
If you eliminate
The only,
What's a ready room for? People with,
They can hang out in there.
okay, so they need to be able to get back into the garage,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
But if they were all sitting in this big community room, if you had this, you'd have almost a 40-foot long community room. So this guy is taking pictures. You get able to get everybody in that picture. Anybody you wanted.
This doesn't show the doors anyway.
Well, these
Oh, these
little
are doors.
these little lines are the doors. Yes.
So when you come in here, you
Yep.
have to go through the chief's
Yep.
office to get to all this other stuff.
Well,
How does the chief get to the bathroom?
we'd have to. Well, no, he would probably come in through this way here or something. We could. That's something
Yeah.
for them to draw out because then you would also have an upstairs over for storage over
would.
this area, that area. So that would be out. Then of course you can see there's no stairs. So unless you've got to put an elevator in,
What about the
Thousands.
hoses?
Huh?
Drying the hoses?
the drying the hoses is a hose tower.
There is a hose tower?
Yep. I think it's right
Right
here.
there.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
So they would have access to get in there, and then also they have probably a side door
Mm-hmm.
up top on the second floor so they can hang the stuff. And then it depends on, usually how they work is they put the hose on and then they hoist up, a block that's up there.
So Peter, this is a stupid question, but
Not stupid, no question is stupid.
is this one floor or two floor?
There's one floor where the bays are, okay? Up, I think it's 34 feet, I think we're limited to here. You can't go any higher than this building here, and I think it's like 34 feet. So you have, 8 feet, 17. I'd have to look at it again. I may be way off with the numbers, 34 feet, but you would have enough room so you'd have in here your ceilings would be at least 8 feet, and then you'd have another 8-foot storage up above, or possibly more. But you're gonna need
I guess
for
I'm not
storage
clear.
up
Is it one floor or two floors?
No, it's
One floor
big,
here and
probably,
then two
yeah.
floors around
This
the
would all be
sides.
open. This here would be open, and it would be open all the way from this end of the building to that end of the building. In other words, you're open. This would all be enclosed. Your downstairs would be all enclosed, so that it's not open to the upstairs.
So this is.
You're talking about this
So
part.
this would be
Yeah.
2 stories and this would
Right.
be like a
Wait,
cathedral ceiling.
there'd be 2 stories here?
No, one's on that one?
17 feet, whatever you want. 8 feet, I don't know what you call that, a whole story. 10 feet's a story, so,
You would have, but you'd have storage area up above.
Yeah,
all
the
this.
storage, yeah, at
And,
least 8 to 10
and where would the
feet.
stairs be going up to that area?
Well, that's what, I haven't drawn that in, but we'd have to, when they designed it, you'd have to tell them the store. If you've ever looked at the other plan, it was like a rabbit's warren. They had doors and hallways, and it was just amazing. I don't know how anybody find a way in and out of the place. Myself, when I looked at that, I said, "It's a little, you know." And as they say, the KISS method: keep your sipping, stupid. That's what we're trying. I was
So,
trying to do.
The upstairs would be for storage of
Storage.
fire department stuff. It
Whatever,
wouldn't be
fire
open to the
depart-
public in the same,
No,
no.
there would be a doorway going
So it
up.
would just be
No
like
wedding
an
showers,
attic
no
storage
baby
space.
things.
Yeah, it would be open. You could have it open, you know, wire cage
Could
type
we-
thing, so somebody's
could
not
that-
gonna fall off the floor.
Could village records be stored up there?
Yeah. You remember if you know, you got almost 30, 40 feet of length up there,
Yeah.
15 feet
We
wide.
need some place to store it.
So you got plenty of room to store. Yeah, well, that was the other thing I was thinking about. I'm sure you don't want it all sitting in your house. Well,
Or upstairs, or upstairs somewhere.
So when you talked to the company, I can't remember the name. You
they
said.
kissed us off last year. Told
Which-
us they weren't interested in the building. Good luck with your project.
Who was
That's
that?
it.
The metal building company is not interested in doing this?
That's the last word I got because
Really?
we diddled around so long and
Oh,
and then it was a requirement was made by one of the members of the board committee that he wanted to go out to bid, and they were a design build company. They have their own products, their own material. They're not going to say,
So-
"Here's your kit.
yeah, right.
You find somebody to build it, and then we guarantee it."
Okay,
Don't
yeah.
work that way.
It's them or nobody. I mean, it's them,
Right, and that was
All or nothing.
therein lied the fly in the ointment with USDA, because USDA says that they'd like to have it go out to bid. Well, I explained to her, what's her name down there, Andrea. I explained to her that these guys don't, do that. They build the building, they guarantee it, the whole 9 yards. Then her only concern then was that, well, do you have actual drawings? I said, well, I don't yet, but I said, I can get them, like, have stamped drawings. I mean, I can show you the Grafton drawings. They gave me everything, from Grafton, pictures, and the whole 9 yards, the whole building going up. I mean, geez, there's more stuff you need.
how is their layout? Is their layout similar
Pretty
to
much the
this?
same as that.
So if we went to see
Their
that,
little tiny offices, well, you've seen their office, is only about half the size of this.
the chief's office or,
Chief's office, they use it for everything.
oh, that's where they have their meetings?
Yeah.
So we
They
went
have-
out and looked at that, that would give us an idea of
Yep. And ours would be a little bigger
Scope.
than that one.
bigger.
And would the exterior be like that, or do we need to go to Castleton to see the exterior?
It would. Well, this shows you the exterior, basically what Grafton has out there, which is like a T111 siding. I don't know if you ever seen T111. It looks like plywood, rough plywood type.
Oh, yeah.
They have a different style that I think it's a plasticized material that holds up better in the weather, and I'm still going to maintain it because when I talked to those guys, their building's 20 years old, and he said, yeah, we got to think about doing a little bit of this and that to it, which is painting and outside. If you use metal, probably are not going to have that issue, and you would have it.
The metal,
I can go up and take some pictures of the Castleton if
well,
you
we
want.
can see it online,
Yeah. Well, you can see it online. Yeah.
yeah. Go Google.
Because you walk up,
Google
even
view.
when my wife went with me, she said, "That's metal." I goes, "Yeah, that's metal siding. Wrap on it, knock on it. You don't see all these seams like you do with a vinyl siding type thing. It's a solid sheet. It's And we were talking metal roof, so the snow would come off it. You wouldn't have to deal with the snow and stuff.
So what's the next step?
The next step. Go ahead.
Does the building from this company include any of the interior partitions, or is that?
They will do all. I went at it 14 different ways. I asked them if they just give us a plain building and we do all the work inside. You guys do the studying up, or you do the whole ball of wax, and the committee can decide what they want to do with it. So
But
I mean, I spent so much time playing with this last year
But
that
they can go over. They can do any.
they
in
can
that
do the whole
range,
building.
or any part
How
of
much?
it.
It all
Okay.
depends on how many dollars you want to
Can
spend.
they
Okay.
give us like a rough,
Rough
ballpark
estimate.
figure for how much it would be?
I had this figured out with some volunteer labor in it to finish off the inside, somewhere around $350,000.
For the building.
They would have.
Did that include site work?
Yep.
That includes the design,
Did-
the
so
site,
where-
the building.
Yeah, I think
and
the
site work?
building. Where
Where was that situating the building?
Right where it is. 60 by 60 foot building. I even had a
But
price
where-
of 55
was
by
it
60.
situated attached to this building?
No.
Or 10 feet off?
No, 10 feet off.
So 10 feet off, so just as what's drawn here.
Yeah.
So the site work plus the building,
Yeah.
you estimate
Yeah, and
the
I had
total
gone to
sitting at
different, I had
350.
gone to all, local contractors, see what they kind of come and look at it and see what they give me a ballpark figure, so I'd have numbers for everything.
Okay, so that was kind of your estimate.
So roughly it was about 250,000 for the building ready to go, and while you're finishing it off, you could,
Right. How much of this interior work that you've got shown did that include?
they would
First.
stud everything there, everything would be ready to go.
And
just
the
put sheetrock up. Yep.
the floor
Yep.
system for the second
Everything
floor.
up. Yep,
Oh,
yep. They'll work with you, they worked with you pretty much, but when they kept going back to them, change this, change that, and, well, now, what if we told this, it just got so,
Where are they located?
huh? They're actually out of Ohio, but they have the office in Castle,
Oh, in Castleton.
yeah.
Oh.
So you can drive right up there, get right off the Castle exit, and you just get right off the ramp and boom. If your brakes don't work, you'll be in the
Oh,
building.
really?
And they'd be more than happy to tour you through it.
To the fire station.
They do have two of them. Grafton's did what they call a pole barn style, where they bury the post in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't talking that. We're talking a concrete floor foundation with a building attached there to it. They put it in, if you go up in the building, if you look at the building, you could actually see how they put it in there, and it's all 6 by 6 construction.
How was that affected by the hurricane, by the Irene?
It's all built to withstand that stuff.
Hmm.
They build it,
It
because
got
I asked them
flooded,
that, I
right?
said, well,
It
what
got-
about snow, snow
Yeah.
load and all that? She said, no, it's all designed to the snow load for this area. They know what they're doing,
Of
they're not
course.
somebody that's just fell
Yeah.
off the Turner truck, they've been building these
Yeah.
buildings a long time.
Mm-hmm.
so
In
Peter
fact,
did-
when I was there, the guy walked in, he said, came in with a picture or drawing like that, and he says, this is what I want to build, I need a barn, I need an apartment in the back of it, can you do it? 2 hours later, he walked out with a roll of paper in his hand, he was happy as a pig, and he was all done. It didn't take him
Hmm.
long to do it. I don't know what happened, whether it ended up, but I mean,
So Peter, that ballpark cost estimate, you said that is for it built on a concrete slab?
yep. 6 inches,
Okay.
no, I think it was a top 8, maybe 8 or 8 inches, and then they would.
And
do-
then and then you mentioned that it would had
in-floor heating.
the
Yep.
in-floor heating, and that included
Yep.
that as well?
No, we got a separate estimate for that.
So that would be in addition to the
No.
350,000?
Well, yeah, well, no, the 350 was all inclusive. That included your electrical work, your heat, and the site work. And the plumbing, because I went to Coda and I went to, I have the estimates right in the file. Of course, probably they're gonna change now, it may increase because of prices, but Coda and James was the cheapest for the whole plumbing and the whole 9 yards, putting in the, and they
So
have an
what-
engineer that designs it to fit the building. They don't
Right.
just go in and lay your lines out. They have an engineer that tells them, because they have to get the size and where your windows and all that doors, that they get your heat loss thing, and they figure it out. Engineer does it for them.
So you got as far as actually getting quotes from some different contractors on doing
Well,
some of the work.
We could have gone that route if there was some consternation on whether you wanted to do this or do a stick-built building. If you're gonna do a stick-built, you had to go on contract, get rates from, estimates from different companies.
Well,
So
you
it's a fair way
said
to do
you
it.
contacted a couple of different contractors though
Well, that
about
was
the heating
for
system,
that, right?
right? And so then, what were they giving you an estimate on, like the scope of work? Was it something that you verbally described to them?
Pretty much,
Was it,
yeah, pretty
were
much
they working
right.
to a
We'd have
plan that was
you'd have to
written
go through
down?
the whole 9 yards, but that's why, they would design the system to fit the building and to make it work.
Okay, so their cost estimates that they gave you were sort of rough ballpark estimates based on what you described to them?
Pretty close to what they would charge us, yeah. Tony James is pretty good about it, because he's in the fire department as well, so he knows what you're up
Right, what I'm trying
And
to
he's been in this
understand
building, he
is
knows.
what his understanding was of the scope of the work. How much, was it going to be for one bathroom or two bathrooms?
No.
How many stalls were gonna be in the bathroom?
He saw that whole drawing. He's got a copy of that right in his computer.
He's got a copy of that.
He's got
So
a
how-
copy of that. And then I
But there's
told him,
no,
I says,
but there's
"Will
no,
you-"
excuse me, but there's no fixtures shown, so it's hard to
No.
tell whether there's one sink, two sinks.
Well, no, we discussed that, and
Okay.
he put him in his copy of the plan, because I take this one to Coda.
Okay,
And he went
so-
to H&B, I mean, I went to three or four different contractors to get prices, and then told them that, what we would want in each thing. I mean, I don't have an engineering thing in my computer that I can draw
Sure.
the little toilets and,
But you
sorry.
did
And I'm not gonna
describe-
do it by hand.
But you described that to
Oh, yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and he made notes.
Oh, yeah, and he even suggested some other ways to do it, so.
So
But then,
do-
when we get down to it, we would have to, talking with Art and whatever, we would have to sit down and say, okay, we want, two of these, one of these, and whatever.
Right.
So,
Right.
then the stumbling block becomes the financing. There's the big problem.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, if you finance it locally, with a bank, I've talked to Katie Dearborn over at Muskoma. They'd love to take it on. They give us a decent rate, a real dirt cheap interest rate to do it, 30-year mortgage type of thing.
And you wouldn't have to, you could do it any way you
You
wanted.
could do it any way you want. Yeah.
I thought the,
But USDA, I think USDA is open to entertaining the idea, because they've never dealt with this style of operation, how they do it.
I thought they didn't do buildings, because I remember.
Oh yeah, no. That's the only ones that you can get. I've been to more funding agencies. The only ones I haven't tried is the computer guy out there in California. Go begging.
What's the,
Bill Gates?
Yeah, Bill Gates and the Amazon guy, the Bezos there.
what would be the benefit of using USDA?
Interest rate, basically. The interesting thing was, in talking with her, that if they wouldn't finance the building, they would finance all the materials to finish it off inside. They would pay for that as a grant.
As a grant.
It's crazy. You talk to these people.
Well, now you got my interest. So they said that there's some grant money available.
Well, not for the building.
No.
You would, but if
Yeah.
we had them, say Morton do all of this,
Yeah.
put the building up, insulate it and everything else, and just stud the inside so it's ready for sheetrock. All the sheetrock and the paint and all the materials to finish it off would be grant funded by USDA.
Well, they would.
It's crazy, but they don't want to fund the building.
Well,
I don't
well,
get it.
they would, all the shower stuff and all the
Oh, yeah, all
bathroom
the
stuff
plumbing,
and
yeah.
all that stuff.
All that stuff would come. Yeah. It's crazy.
Is the
And
is
heating-
the
Go
is
figure
the cost estimate that you worked up, the $350,000 cost estimate, is that predicated on all the interior material being granted? Donated
Not granted,
by
no. That, I
USDA?
just we came up with a ballpark figure of what it would cost to build a building to that.
With the,
Without
including all
any
the-
grant funding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get into discussing any funding. I checked it out on my own, but
So that would be taking away from the 350, whatever you could get as a grant, right?
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand.
Oh yeah. No, I would assume that's how it worked.
Yeah.
Now the other thing, if we can go to USDA and they finance the whole thing, you're going to get a little cheaper rate. Yeah, I don't know. Mascoma came up with a pretty. I think they had 1.5–2% interest rate, which I thought was pretty good on their part. But
How
And
long
what
ago?
grants
how
we-
I
long
also
ago
talked
was
with
that?
Mario down to Peoples. I haven't talked to TD Bank, but I know Jim McCaffrey had a bunch of those numbers and stuff. He'd gone around and checked all
Yeah.
the different banks and come up with
Yeah.
numbers. So
Where's that community bank too that we're working on with the sewer project?
yeah.
Up in.
Yeah, lots of
where
banks.
I
is
even went
it?
to VLCT to see if they could give me an idea of where I could go looking for free money, grant money or something.
What about
Well, we
FEMA?
don't do that. We don't do that type of thing.
FEMA for some of the equipment?
Forget FEMA. No.
For some of the equipment, they just gave somebody
Well,
stuff somewhere.
FEMA will not give you money for your building. They will
No.
give you some stuff for emergency
Right,
equipment, which is
right.
why I sent you that email, because
Yeah.
VLCT has that
Yeah.
passive thing that 5,000 aren't looking for to in the budget. You can get it from VLCT to cover all that stuff. And he has taken the course that qualifies him to go to FEMA and get money for his hoses and airbacks and everything else. And it won't cost the taxpayers anything. And Sean McGinnis has offered to help him put the application in.
Sean he was on TV tonight, he just got some, like, flak suits to
Yeah,
go to emergencies.
that's right.
Whoa.
It's free. I mean, the money's sitting there. You just got to ask for it. But there is a requirement that you had to take some course, I guess
Okay.
they said. And from what they tell me, what Chief Lake said was that Sean and Art went to that course. It was in Keene, New Hampshire,
Oh.
and the only one who didn't go was Dennis
Jeffrey.
He didn't want to go.
So
And then
that
there was other-
qualifies them to get,
They can get access to FEMA
Okay.
funding. If you don't
Okay.
have that course, you ain't gonna get it.
okay, so we should ask him to, because he's
Well,
got, he
Art's
told
already,
us he
I
needs
believe
some
Art's
more of
already
those,
taken the course. so-
those suits, what are they called?
Yeah, I mean,
What are
any of those,
suits
all their
5,000?
turnout gear and stuff, if they,
Turnout
whatever they
gear.
need, they can get, they can
Okay.
get paid for. I mean, why tax
Yeah,
the taxpayer?
Right.
I mean, Sean's right now looking, there's an article on the town meeting warning that he's looking for 2 fire trucks. And he can get $440,000 grant towards the $500,000 for the cost of the trucks. So the article is dependent on him getting that grant. If we don't get the grant, we don't spend the money. But his idea is to go take 3 trucks and get 2.
So some of this, besides the turnout gear, some of the, like, equipment, like walkie-talkies or whatever they,
Yeah.
that
Oh yeah,
stuff, all
radios.
that
Oh yeah,
stuff?
radios are one of the most important things they'll give you. They won't
Yeah.
even ask you that.
Okay.
And the thing is, the volunteer departments usually go right to the top of the list.
Mm.
Anybody else waits.
okay.
Is
So
that VLCT or FEMA that you're talking?
no FEMA.
VLC. Oh, FEMA?
Yeah.
What's a VLCT, is for the turnout gear?
No, that's a passive. What they do is that they have that fund. You can get up to $5,000 from VLCT from the passive fund. It's supposed to lower your risk for the emergency stuff. So that it lowers your risk for them. Which I think it's. If you read the whole article, you must have
Okay.
got it. I think
I
is your
did.
VLCT thing. Yeah.
So how do we get off the dime on this?
How's that? How do we have it on time? Well, we got to figure out who's going to run it, and Matt says he doesn't want to be involved anymore. So.
He doesn't?
Nope, told me this morning he wants me to do it, and I
Oh,
don't,
he didn't tell us.
I can't. I got enough going on right now.
So we need to get more people involved
We
in
need to get
that.
more people. I can ask around.
You have any suggestions?
Well, I don't know Art's evidently not here, so,
Well, he couldn't come, he had a
well, whatever.
babysitting problem.
I understand that. I mean,
But-
when I wasn't on the board before, the select board, I had a whole year that I had plenty of time to devote to chasing all this
Yeah.
stuff.
So we need to have him involved.
Well, he's got to,
Is there anyone else on the fire department who's particularly?
I don't know, I've asked him, he just kinda hasn't
Okay.
really replied to me.
So can you think of anybody in the community who is particularly?
Well, I know there's a couple of them, but I don't know if I'd want to ask them to go on the committee. I don't think Jim McCaffrey would want to get back on there because you're not going to get
Yeah.
anything. I mean, he's
No.
not a cooperative person. I mean, it's either Jim's way or no way. I mean, nothing against Jim, but I've heard that story.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Dave Moore
So
would
should
be
we
interested
put
again.
put out word or something?
You can ask. I mean,
If we have this plan and we have an idea and a sort of round figure, we're a little closer to where people might say, oh, okay, now I can get involved because it's a little more concrete.
yep. The other thing is too, I before we even go that far, I should try and contact Morton again to see if we can get them back interested in it, if that's the way we want to go.
Okay.
I mean, we did look at another all-metal building for the, out for the Claremont. I think you guys, we had the guy at the meeting, remember? They build these huge garage buildings and stuff like that. They did one in Ludlow, the
Oh.
Benson's garage, they did that one, and they did one in Keene, a garage down there, car dealership
Same
type
kind of
thing.
thing? They would do.
No, they're a little different.
Oh.
They're a little different. They're all like steel beams. It's all sort of exposed. It's not.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not. So, and they were like about $750,000, I think, by the time we got done. So,
$150,000. That sounds cheap.
well,
Yeah,
But-
I
I
don't know as you need to get back in touch with them yet at this point. I think
well,
if
if they're interested, then you might wanna get your crew together and then say, okay, we know which direction we're going in. Now all that needs to be done is to refine this, your building. And then take it up to them and say, okay, this is what we like. Do it up and give us a number.
This sounds like
And while they're doing that, this is when you start playing with the money end of it.
the most comprehensive and the most inexpensive way of doing this, right? And I mean, if they did everything,
If they did everything, you're probably looking at about 550,000, I'm gonna guess off
what
the top
happened
of
to
my
the
head.
350?
Well, that's doing some of the work.
Oh, I mean, besides just designing it.
If you want them to, it may be cheaper than that, but I mean, you know, you gotta figure it's a year later now, so
So we shouldn't use the 350.
the longer you wait, the more it costs. You know how that goes. Prices go up.
Which we don't
So
know.
what then what did the 350 figure cover, and what were you looking at, volunteer labor or whatever?
Well, the more
To make-
volunteer you get, I mean, basically it's labor. I mean, the material, if we can get USDA to sign on, will be grant money. I mean, whatever you need, you're not gonna pay for. So that's, you know, that's there. And then you just have the labor, I mean, volunteer labor. I mean, the only one that really was gung-ho about it was Ned Mortensen. They approached
Volunteer
him.
labor?
Huh?
Volunteer labor, you mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hammer for hire.
Let me ask the question another way. What would we get for 350,000?
You get a building completely up on
Okay.
concrete block, on concrete. Your
Okay.
plumbing, your heating, all studded interior.
None, not fixtures. I mean, not the fixtures, not the completed walls.
Well, they can't put the fixtures in until you get the walls up. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, but it wouldn't
So-
include any of the,
Studding would be
Sinks and
in, but-
toilets and stuff.
Right.
None of the
It would just be,
drywall.
you know,
Yeah.
you could walk right between the studs.
It'd be a show.
But it would be
So-
all insulated,
mm-hmm,
your heat would be ready to go.
mm-hmm.
Then it becomes a matter of whether you want to use propane heat or oil.
Mhm.
They claim oil is better
Mhm.
because you get more BTUs out of it than propane. And the other thing is the liability for the propane. If you want propane, if you ever looked in a shopper, you'll see Bart fuel system up there. It says if you use our tank or buy our fuel, they give you the tank. So as long as you buy your fuel from them. The thing is, it relieves you of the liability. If you have a gas leak, it's on them, not on you. If you buy the tank, like Grafton did, anything happens to that tank,
It's theirs.
they're on the hook. And they have to respond 24/7. That's how that works.
So the basic is 350, but then they have to hold the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be nice if we get it cheaper than that, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
So
Not now.
it looks like you've got quite a file going on this project.
There's everything in there.
Yeah,
And that's only part of it.
Can you give us just a quick, rundown of what other work you've compiled?
Let's see what's there. This was something that Art drew up.
And of course, we've got the building plans
This
that
is their warranty.
were
their
prepared by an
guarantee.
architect a while back.
Marquise and Morano?
No, it was,
Well, that we've got that work.
was the
but
one
then
in
there's an
Newfane,
architect plan.
Yeah, those are.
what's his name?
This is their 60 by 60 building. This might be their estimate. You can read that. That was, when we first started. Yeah, that's their estimate. Mark the buildings.
Interesting to see what it looks like.
And that gives you. This is what they tell you they'll put in for the number that's going on the bank.
So
They
this
give
is
you
a
couple options. And you could say, I think they priced every option there or something, so if you didn't want them to do that, you'd take that off the total price at the bottom.
Where's the price?
I thought there was in there, maybe there's another sheet, but I know let me get my spy glasses out here.
Yeah.
I just, those are some way other numbers. This was for, I think it says 55 by 60 is this thing on the front page, back in front of there. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's your style. 16, see, they got the height of 16 feet. 55 by 60. This is a 55 by 60. So then we asked them about 60 by 17 because we're using 12 by 12 timbers to go across the flooring and stuff. You're gonna need a foot. You're gonna lose a foot if you only go 17 feet out.
I see.
So we went. If you're 16, you're gonna have 7-foot ceilings. You don't wanna do that. And then, because Art said, well, then we'd be walking over, hunched over like this, putting
Okay.
stuff up. And I said, well, we can change that.
So this was what they originally gave you, and then
Yeah.
you started.
And this is what
Consider
Art
some
grew up,
changes.
what he thought. If we change, see, this shows you this. You look at this. This shows you this thing with everything kind of flopped around. See, he's got the community building up this way, and he's got other. And he's got kind of doing the staircase and stuff. I mean, that may not be where it ends up, but I mean, that was just another version that Art had drawn up based on a 60.
So then it looks like you've got something for.
Well, that's the Osgood building that came from Claremont. That was the all-metal building.
Okay. This Morton building is not all metal building.
No. No, it's wood frame, 6x6, pressure treated lumber. They have an interior, I don't know what you'd call it, almost call it melamine, stuff they put over the insulation and stuff. It's all, you read the whole thing, it's pretty much self-explanatory. But if you look at it, it's pretty protective, it's easy to clean, you don't.
Have you seen that, at the sewer plant they have down there? Sounds like something like that on the.
It could be, yeah. They call it a special siding inside. They have their own words for it, but to me it looks like
And the
melamine.
outside is.
You know.
too, I forget what it is.
Stuff like, on the old counters,
It's
you
supposed to
had
look
that
like.
melamine stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like that.
Yeah.
But it's thicker and it's guaranteed for a lot longer than what you'd get. So, let me see. What else do I have here? This is my own little. This is some calculations I kind of worked up on my computer by some numbers that they had given me. And then the application for USDA. Let's see, what the hell is this? Like I say, I got more crap in here. There's more figures. Mortgage calculator that they gave me from. Just interesting to see what that would be. Yeah, 2.5%. If you use that, 300,000, your payment with the principal will be $11.85 a month. Whatever. Well, this is some other quotes, the green quotes. Oh yeah. This came from, that's Thad Giles' quote for doing the prep work. This came from Rick's Lawrence and Lower. Number for all electrical work. So you can see all
Okay.
this stuff. The numbers go
So it's basically all the work that you put into trying to work up a ballpark
Yeah.
estimate
yeah.
by talking to these different people.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
And I think this is code and quotas.
So wouldn't you need to have that,
23,000 for the heat
if you were
and
coming in here?
plumbing, and it kind of gives you needed
wanna
as
be able
needed
to
for the
Got it.
bathroom or kitchen area. So
Okay.
it's whatever we want to put in there,
So
they'll
you can't
Sure.
go
cover
right
it.
through
Yep.
here.
And
Yep.
then,
What they
so I
said
mean,
they did.
there's a lot of
There's no
stuff that I
door.
chased.
No, I mean, you can't get
That
into
year
the
I had
shower.
time to do it.
No door.
Very good.
I don't know where.
So
to go
it is
with
possible,
Mhm.
and you can see the numbers speak for themselves.
If you're a fireman.
And like I say, this is using their
Yeah,
numbers.
you want to, what,
You'd
coming
also
up
want to
through,
be able
you
to
know,
get to
when
the
you stop and
bathroom.
look at the
There's another
building
bathroom?
at 150,000.
How would they get to the bathroom?
Year and a half
up
ago.
in this hallway,
They'd have to go all around this way?
yeah,
Well, then it wouldn't it make,
just through the community road.
but if you're coming in here as a fireman, you go into the, take a shower, wouldn't you want the bathroom right next to it?
That's what I would think. I
Make-
mean, put all your plumbing in line.
Yeah. But this
Way to
one,
do it.
this one only shows a bathroom, you have to go all the way around practically out the
Well,
door to get.
that's what I said. I mean, when you start
into the-
looking,
Yeah.
well, I think what he
You
did
think
is,
about what
I
people
think,
actually do with
I
it,
think
you
what
know.
he did was he took the architect's version
Mm.
and kind of condensed it himself and kind of trying to
Yeah.
work it out,
Yeah.
how he could still
Yeah.
squeeze all that stuff in that he wanted, he may
Mhm.
not need, but he wanted.
Mm.
And then, you know, to me, it's,
Mhm.
if you keep it simple, that's the best way to do it, so
Mhm.
it just kind of flows.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're trying, you know,
Yeah.
doors in here and then you gotta go out here and over around this thing, it just gets confusing.
it's not the way you would actually use it.
No,
These are
I wouldn't. I mean,
Pretty tiny rooms.
Where's the work that Marquise and Morano did originally, and also the work that
was
the
the name?
architect did on the
What was
building?
what was his name?
Matt has a
I
bigger,
don't remember, but there was.
What's the name of the guy in New Fame? Do you have something? that-
you would have to ask me that. You know, it's funny because I went back to him and asked him for something and never got a reply from him, so I
Oh.
wondered if he was still in business.
Well, he is, you know, he was burnt out by that fire, he's now in the old New Fame General
See, here's
Store.
some of the architect,
Not
but
the-
Matt had the big
The New
plan.
Fame store, not the New Fame General Store.
I don't know if I have a copy of that.
The fire at the gelato place somehow, I think.
That's Marquise Morano stuff. There's some more stuff showing this is all the,
Spec
You need to have to
2013.
kind of get this back or use a magnifying glass. The print is not very good there, but. And I even went to the state and there's articles, letters in here about being able to build there and the whole 9 yards.
You got something way in the back that has his name on it?
Who,
Is it Peter? No.
That's Marquise Morano. I don't know if I have. Yeah, let's see. Yes, and here, look at that. This is the
Oh, this is
interior.
the one.
That's the interior. And there's more stuff, more pictures you can look at.
Oh, that's one of
So
They went to the
That's a
fire
pretty nice looking
prevent,
building.
fire guy. They were willing to work with us, anything they wanted. I mean, they were very easy to work with. Everybody says, oh, they're gonna give you a hard time. Not the
So-
guy I talked to.
So Peter, in this Marquise and Morano report from 2013, they worked up an opinion of probable cost
Mm-hmm.
just for the site work. So that didn't include any building. It was just getting the site essentially prepped to the point of, being ready to start construction. $283,000. So what has changed since then that you
I
think
don't-
the site costs will be much less?
I wasn't involved in getting that, so I don't know. I can't tell you any answers. I mean, this was done by the original committee and stuff way back, and it's a
Right.
date on the form there. So how they arrived at that, I couldn't tell you what the discussion was that led them to come up with that number.
And that would have been before Irene?
September 13th, 2013.
And it's 5 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. So that does include a paved driveway. Okay. So we do have that. Yeah. And then there was that architect work. Who has that work? Is that something Matt has?
I know Matt has the big plan from them.
Okay.
I thought I might have a copy here, I don't.
Right. And the reason I'm asking is that, just trying to understand where we're at and what information we've got. So.
Cause this is basically, it's Grafton's building right there.
So was the Grafton building, was that constructed by this
Yep, Morton.
company?
Yep.
You said it is a
Oh,
wood-
I did a
it's
tour,
wood-
I got all kinds of pictures of every fire department from here to Westminster, Wardsboro, everything. I wasn't looking at anything, Jamaica. Of course, you gotta understand, when they built a lot of their buildings, like Westminster's Palace down there, if you've ever been to Westminster Fire Station, they built that with FEMA money. Putney's the same way, they were able to get FEMA money to pay for the whole thing. I don't know how they did it, but that was during the storm stuff, and somehow they were able to obtain the pay and the money for that. The same with Wardsboro, Newfane, all those guys, they got all that kind of money. Unfortunately, that stuff's not available anymore.
Probably before the big storms when they spent all the money on that.
Yeah, and, back when revenue sharing was alive and well, that's when a lot of stuff got done, but money is no longer available, so. But as you can see, there's quite a difference between what they're estimating compared to what Thad Guile gave us. I think Thad was in there about 50, 60 grand, which is considerably a lot less than that one.
For the site preparation?
Oh,
I
maybe he's
think
giving
you
us a
just-
break, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you need to understand the scope, and that included paving, and also included
Yeah, well, yeah,
the
a lot of stuff.
I think, well, you just have
Yeah, I mean, you read it, I mean,
to look at
What,
what's
how
in
much
there.
was this one?
their estimate was 283,000.
That was a while ago too.
Well, 5 years ago, but I don't know what transpired, what the discussion was on how they were doing that. Of course, then Jane Morano died, and I went down and talked with Mike Marquis about that, and he says, well, I wouldn't depend a lot on those numbers. So I said, he says, I can't remember what transpired 5
No.
years ago either.
No.
So I don't know what the discussion was, I don't know. You might have to go back to Jim McCaffrey and those guys that really been into that back then.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was a well thought through.
Oh, I'm sure.
uh,
I mean, they're
report
engineers.
by an
I mean,
engineer.
They're engineers, and of course that, if you read that, that included new sewer line and
Exactly. So
all that.
And
And then they were talking about a drainage system in the fire department that would hook into that, so that all that stuff would go down to the
tell what was the
to the
cost.
sewer plant and clog it up and stuff. And right now we're talking, instead of, we still have the floor drains in there because they cannot drain to the outside because it has material. If there's any gas or anything, oil that drips on the floor and gets washed down, it has to go into a holding tank. But the amount of material that you're gonna get out of the newer trucks is gonna be nil to nothing. So the thing that's been suggested to me is put the drains in the floor, but run them into a tank that you can pump out, 200-300 gallon tank. So that's a hell of a lot less than what money you'd be dealing in it and putting a new, cause you're talking a bigger line, you'd have to go from, I don't know what the line is out here, 4 to 6, but you're looking at an 8-inch sewer line, so that's more money.
Okay, so those are some good examples of
Yeah.
some changes that
Yeah.
the committee has considered since
Oh yeah, no, we
receiving
beat
this
this.
engineering
We
report.
pretty well beat it to.
You value engineered
She can
it.
tell you, we beat that up pretty good.
Okay. All
But-
right.
So that's where that lies.
Okay. That was a good update.
Well, I noticed there's been no updates that everybody else has been giving you, but
Thank you for your work.
Yeah, thank you.
you have to understand that
We gotta
most of
get you
that
some
is my
help.
work, not nobody else's. I
We
mean,
gotta get you the help for you. So.
what? You got a what?
Get some help.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so-
I can't do it all myself.
No.
I mean, I got BFADC, RLF, revolving loan fund. I'm down to recycling center 2 days a week.
PDQ, QRST,
Yeah, all the alphabet garbage.
ABC, NBC.
Can't get anybody to volunteer. Can't even pay people to work down there at the recycling center. You got an ad out for that. They can't even get anybody. Nobody's applied.
It's too cold.
I'm down there.
I know.
Cold or not. You dress for it. You're gonna go skiing, you can stand down
Wait till we get a
there.
nice warm day, boy, they'll lock in there.
I'm even the fishing out. They gave me one of those bright yellow jackets with the stripes on it.
Ooh, like in France where you're,
Well, it started off being the sticker cop.
oh, sticker cup, yeah, I know.
Sticker Nazi, as they call me now.
Sticker Nazi.
I have my little select board ID, which is expired, but they don't look at the fine print, so you walk up and they go, there comes that asshole with us checking for my sticker. Then I said, okay, did you pay for your trash? This is another thing, they don't pay for their trash.
They're just
Nobody asks them.
dumping it.
They just throw it away and drive off. $2.50 a bag adds up.
I was driving home one day after it was recycling day, and there was a pickup truck in front of me, and he had his garbage can, plastic garbage
Oh,
can,
yeah.
which was empty, I guess. It was
Did it
standing
fly
up.
off?
The top flew right off. Just missed me. All right.
So,
All right. Well, thanks, Peter.
Yes. We're gonna get some more people to step up and.
I think.
Would you-
getting a putting the word out and see if we can get some people involved.
I mean, the other thing
Talk to
would
your
be,
poker guys for one.
the other thing would be interesting would be to see if any of the fire department people, I've talked to a
Yeah.
couple of them.
Yeah, they should be
I mean,
involved.
they're gonna be in the building.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
you
think they would
definitely
have
want
some
that.
say and
Yeah.
stuff.
And I think we need representatives from the fire department and the fast squad and the different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple of them,
Yeah.
they've seen me come in, and they say, what, you got our building yet? And I'm, no. So, I mean,
Well,
they're interested, but I don't know why they're not getting, I don't know whether Art doesn't want them, I don't know, all these
Do we have
things go through your head when you.
Yeah, is there what is the best way to reach out to the volunteers? Should we do we go through some key people that are involved, or is there do they have a
I
mailing
don't know, I guess
list,
you could
or-
ask them if they were interested. I mean,
What's the best way to contact them? When do they have their meetings? Is
I
it
don't know when they.
Wednesdays,
Was it?
Wednesdays?
I don't know.
At, like, when? 7 or 6?
7-ish, yeah. I'm supposed to see Richard tomorrow, I can
I
ask
mean, I
him.
caught a bunch of them out there last summer
Yeah,
when they
that's
came
very
back from a fire out in
Yeah,
Athens, I
maybe
think it was.
we could get on the agenda for one of their meetings or ask them.
And a lot of them were talking about that. They were interested.
I think that's a great idea, is to get them involved. Not
Because they should
not to
have,
look
they
for
should
them
have
to
some
do the
input.
work.
I mean,
but to
they're
get
gonna
their
be in this
input.
building, they should have some input.
But they need to feel that people in the village are supporting that effort.
Well, we
too.
need their input so that it winds up being a functional space
Yeah.
that works
Right.
for them.
But
And
I
the
think that's what they feel, that people don't care, that they're not coming forward, they're not building them a fire station.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had that in my discussions on, they've
No.
never really said that to me. They just figured that nothing's gonna happen because it's
Yeah.
the cost. I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta start looking at the cost before if
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you're going into. I always thought that we should have looked at options before we spent the $30,000 to have the architect drop the plans, but that's here and there, it's done, it's over the water, you ain't getting it back now, so.
So we used to have, that fire station study item line in the budget, don't we?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's money for,
Well, there's some.
you know, whatever.
So,
The GoFundMe account has about $4,000 that they've brought in.
Okay.
So who can? Is there an action item?
Should we contact Art and ask them to, how about Nick? The name?
Both of them probably.
Yeah.
probably ought to ask Art and see if anybody's mentioned to him whether they're interested in
Yeah.
taking part of it. We're not asking him to do any work right now, other than
No.
Or
Give us
ask
some
him
input.
what's the best way to
Yeah.
To engage somebody.
engage them. Yeah.
Who do they think? Who does he think might be most interested too?
Yeah. So, I mean, if they're just gonna show up just to have coffee, not worth it. I mean, you gotta get somebody who's willing to put some time and effort into it. Otherwise, it's gonna stagnate again.
I'd settle for
'Cause right now
showing
it
up
looks-
for coffee, giving some input at this point.
Appears right now there's a committee of one, and you're looking at them. and they ain't gonna happen with one.
Is that because you're so bristly and nobody wants to work with you, Peter? No.
Be my guest.
You
I'll leave you all the paperwork. I'll get it off my couch in the
You've done
day,
a wonderful job.
and I can go away
Yeah.
happy. I don't have to worry about
And
it.
you can join the trustees again.
No. I'm 71. I'm supposed to be retired. I'm more busy now than I was when I was working.
And you got me involved in this.
So, what do you mean? I didn't get you involved
You
in
got
this.
me involved in being on the trustees. I joined and then you quit, right?
You remember I was on this board for 10 years at that point.
I've been on since '95.
And I got
now.
shanghaied by Neil Joseph that
Oh.
year.
I got Shanghai.
That
by
was a fun
Joe
group
Engel.
though. We did a lot done. It was a fun group.
Yeah,
Joe Engel. Joe Engel's still alive? Do you know anybody know?
they live in Claremont.
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay.
I will in the meantime put a feeler out to Morton, see if they're in any way, mean or manner, interested in starting a discussion again. Saying that we pretty much get to it down to a concrete plan except for finagling some rooms around. And see if they're interested in dealing with us again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna have to go back to stage one and start going through a whole,
And would they come down here?
sure, guys from Castleton.
To meet.
I asked him
yeah.
to come down at one point.
Mhm.
He said, when you get ready, just let me know and I'll come down.
All right.
He's still on my email.
All right.
And then if they're interested, then we gotta get a committee together.
Yeah. We got to do that before.
We need to get a
Well,
committee
we can
together
work on it
either way.
while we're in the process. I mean,
Yeah.
if they get an answer
I
back
think
in
that's
the day that
first
says
order of business.
they're not interested, then
Mm-hmm. No, it's
You're
not
gonna
a
get-
one-person job.
have to have a committee that's gonna roll and start from stage one again. Well, with the drawings we got. And
So somebody needs to get in touch with Art and Nick,
yeah, Nick's the one I talked to.
and then beyond
We need to
seeking input from the volunteers,
We need to.
we
think
need
of
to
what
reach
people-
out to
what
the
people
community
need.
to
Mhm.
put together a committee.
And they don't have to live right in Saxon River either. If we think about
You know, the interesting thing is,
somebody who's interested in.
I have talked to Athens,
Mm-hmm.
talked to Dave Bemis about
Mm-hmm.
increasing his contribution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you know it or not, but Newfane, they approached Newfane, and Newfane gave them a number $19,000 to cover their
Wow.
fire department. We only charged them $5.
I think we're up to 6.
They said they were willing to entertain it. I said, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I said, would you be willing to sit down, discuss an increase,
Increase their,
an increase to $5,000 something. He said, yeah, they'd be,
or maybe one of them would get involved in this.
yeah, get more action on a graph than those guys are talking to them. I mean, they gave me the whole, you can believe the crap I got sitting in
Huh.
in my house of pictures and everything.
So one of them might be willing to help us.
They are willing to help. I'm not sure they're gonna come in and work on a committee, but I mean, if they'll give us any ideas and,
Yeah.
cause what they said, they paid a guy $1,000 to be a consultant. He did all this chasing around for him.
Mm.
But that's $1,000, which, if we get these guys to it, why would we wanna spend $1,000? Use $1,000 for something else that we need.
Well, we have an annual meeting coming up in April too. It'd be nice to be able to have something concrete to present to people or to tell people where we are and to have made a little step forward, right? As far as even if we just have a committee together. Yeah,
Yeah.
which isn't that far from now, it's what, 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
So. Okay, so let's go.
Seems to me like there's a lot to be done between now and April.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can always have a special meeting if you had to. Nobody likes to go to those, but if you're gonna do it, you wanna do it before summer. I mean, 'cause we arranged a storage area for the trucks and everything right up on the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dan and Steve said they'd move their crap out of there and we could park our trucks up there while this thing was being done. And you're looking at, if you have them do it, you're looking at two months, maybe 10 weeks,
Really?
and building be done. They don't take long, no, I think Grafton's did, it took them 6 weeks, they had their building up.
But not completely.
No, they had it completely, cause they didn't have that, they didn't go into all the toilets and,
Oh.
they only got a little cubby hole for a toilet, don't have any showers or,
Oh.
and then they built some other stuff, storage areas themselves. But the whole interior of the building, I mean, they had no rooms or anything, it's just the office, is all they had.
Oh.
J&B Glass converted their big, window looking out on the floor, but they can only look out this way, they can't see the rest of the building,
Okay.
so.
Any thoughts? Start thinking about who would be good on this committee, getting the word out. When is a good time to meet?
Who's
Huh?
who's,
With this committee, we get a committee.
well, Rick Holloway's the chairman,
He is still?
don't know whether he's still or not, but,
Oh. But, I mean, when have you been meeting?
you know who called the meetings on ya?
You.
Wasn't him, wasn't Matt.
What are the good days if you have select board meetings
We,
on
what we
Tuesdays?
used to do is send,
Tuesday?
anybody on the committee, we send an email out and say,
Can you
we're
meet?
thinking of having a meeting on such and such a
Okay.
date, such a time,
All right.
who's available?
Okay,
If we got most of them,
okay,
the ones that really,
yeah.
we're gonna put some input into it, we schedule a meeting. Can we do
How big's the
January?
committee?
3, 4, how many? She's on
It
it, I'm
hasn't
on
met
it.
in a while.
Matt Brennan and Holloway hasn't been at any of them lately. And Art.
Holloway, Brennan,
And Art, so that's
Art.
it.
you, Celia, anybody else?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've met.
It's
so-
been almost, pretty good, close to 6, 9 months since we met. I think right after I got on on the select board, we haven't met since then, because it was supposed to come back to you guys to have the architects rework their drawing. Matt thought they could get it done for little or nothing, but evidently that didn't pan out.
The drawings that were done by the new fame?
Yep.
Yeah, but why would, if you,
Well, he thought, seeing as they, came up with the original drawings, they would go to them and say, look, instead of 64 by 66 building, we're looking at a 60 by 60 building. Can you work this around and just redo it? Then they wouldn't have to go through the whole thing of getting up, all the requirements for the electrical and the lights and the
Mhm.
exhausters and everything else that they
Mhm.
wanted. I mean,
so this design was more or less what you guys came up with?
this is what I came up with.
Or you did?
And then it ended up, they all sort of came to agreement they finally understood that, 66 feet building isn't gonna cut it.
Mhm.
Yes, you had permission to put it up, but if you had another high water with the storms we've been getting lately, it could very easily happen next year or
Mhm.
within 6 months of putting the building up. And you had water in this building when it was coming in. 6 inches of water, they tell me, was in the building. You can get rid of that water, but if it undermines the building,
Yeah,
you're in trouble,
yeah,
big trouble.
right here in River City.
So you just have to think of the long ways and do it that way. I was surprised from Coda, the plumbing and the heating was only like 23 grand. I mean, that was his total. And then James's was cheaper, and I think he's in the 15,000 area. That's with all the fixtures. Maybe they're working
That's
with us, I
cheap.
don't know. It is when you stop and think of it. Electrical, Lawrence and Lober, yeah, they're expensive, but, And then the discussion becomes a three-phase or single-phase electric. I mean, it's three-phase could add a couple grand to the cost, because it's more you gotta pay the power company for the installation charges, the equipment they gotta put up out there.
Is there someplace for a generator in this?
The generator was, that little generator thing they got out front, I don't think they have a generator. All they got is an air pump, I think, 'cause they use, that little thing out in the corner where the exhaust pipe sticks out to the front of the building there. That's all I think that's all that is a compressor.
Hmm.
I don't think it's a generator.
So,
You can buy a generator for $4,000, that's cheap. Generac.
so you
Standby
couldn't use
generator.
this as emergency shelter if you didn't have a
Yeah,
generator?
well, you could, that's the other thing, if you had the long-sized community room, you could get, 40 feet,
40 feet wide.
40 feet long, 15 feet wide,
You could get people in there, you mean?
you could.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Yeah.
You could use it, and you got kitchen facilities, bathroom
Right,
facilities,
right.
shower facilities.
I think they'd use the school first. It's further up the hill.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Not for me.
To the agenda?
Any other business? Nothing I can think of.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?